I want to say to you. It's like, okay, you believe you need to do this, go do that and try and see if it works. You go do that and see if that works. One of you is going to be right, one of you is going to be wrong. Just go do it. Don't argue each other.
We have a name for that. It's like, if you see a shorter way or a better way, you go. And if people follow you, then eventually that becomes the path. Otherwise, you're just on your own. Yeah, go for it. And if it's a good idea, people are going to follow you. If not, it's going to fall away.
The left has this will palm of hurting people's feces. I really think that's the problem. They care too much about people's feces and not about what's actually reality.
People's what?
Their feelings.
Their feelings.
It's like, and again, and also arguing what words mean. I have to like choose words because they don't like the certain words, even though I'm using it in the right context. Like the word argument. An argument is a statement of contact. That's what it is. It's your basic logical function that you are promoting, right? It's your ideology that you're promoting. That's what an argument is.
Hey, son, I was really today enjoying when I was editing the video, realizing that you're such a good balance for me because I am all about my feelings. And it's good to hear somebody that's plugged into what's happening. It expands me and it opens me up to more possibilities. So I felt for you, brother. I mean, it was like that was your first facilitated meeting and nobody wanted to play. So would you say, Nissan, you're feeling some adrenaline?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming off of you.
Yeah. I just had to vet. It was too much. It was too much.
Oh, I've been doing sort of multiple projects, and I'm a little bit bad at juggling priorities, and it's sort of left me a little bit frustrated and just feeling like I'm not getting very far with lots of different things at once. I've almost considered a little bit, cutting Democracy 3.0 off, but I don't know. I mean, you guys are all here and I'm here. So, yeah, what Nissan was talking about, I mean, I think that's really what we're trying to do is, how do you get people together and working together in one direction? And it's not easy. And but I think that there are things, there are things that can be done today that couldn't have been done 50 years ago. I think I want to pivot a little bit, and we've been sort of trying to, we've sort of been focusing on democracy, and I want to pivot the focus just a little bit and focus on the governance of an organization. Sort of building nowadays they talk about decentralized organizations, and the concept is just having people come together and be able to coordinate over the internet for some type of action. And they can do like voting on the blockchain now, but I think it's a wide open space. There's a lot of possibilities. I don't think they've come up with the answer yet. So that's what I want to work on a bit.
I want to just say this, make sure it's clear, because I was a big advocate of decentralization. I love the idea of decentralization. I'm an anarcho-syndicalist in most parts, but I feel very strongly that after dealing with this for so long, that it seems to be burned into the left's mind that they need leadership. They need somebody to tell them what to do. They need a leader to guide them. So every time I see somebody try to do a decentralized project, it starts off well with a lot of enthusiasm, and it goes all to hell because nobody can agree on any facts or any methodology. They don't have the tools required to function in a decentralized manner. There has to be a certain set of skills and set of structures that need to be there for you want to act independently enough to work in a decentralized system. Because you have to have the forethought of what other people are doing, have a forethought of how things should look, you know, the foresight, and have the ability to deconstruct what's going on and figure out from step 1 to step 3, 2, 3, 4. A lot of people don't have that. It just does not exist. It's not a matter of not having the intelligence. It's just not having the tool set, not having the skill set. Well, I believe because our system has pretty much scrubbed that away. In fact, I believe it happens during the school, during public school. It just scrubs that away. The first thing it scrubs away is your curiosity. It just starts rubbing it out. You start acting curious inside the classroom, you get your ass smacked. Just laying out there. So it's really hard to get things like scientists, because scientists require curiosity.
Yeah.
It requires you to want to understand how things work. And people want to be stuck with the idea that what they have in their head is the way things are, and it is not. It just isn't. They're living in a fantasy world. And I'm not even mad. I can't be mad because it's not their fault. They were placed there. I feel like I have to be Neo in the Matrix saying I'm trying to save you, but I can't. But I have to fight you because you're trying to hold on to the system for dear life because that's all you know. But it's killing you. It's like, so.
Thanks.
Son, I love your energy and your passion, and I love that you give me balance. You said we don't have the tools, and I agree. We don't have the technology to communicate effectively. And that's what the Wednesday night group is about, practicing deliberative democracy and nonviolent communication. We're not going to get it right. I mean, it's practice, but those are the tools that are required for us to get past this impasse of wanting to be right.
And that's why I feel what you're doing is a noble goal, and I thank you for it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about what those tools would look like, and you know, we've been trying to sort of have a little time every week for people to share, you know, what they're working on, and you know, what other people could sort of join in on, like plans for action. They need a little bit more organization than most people can sort of come up with, like on the spot, you know, verbally, you know, when you give them 2 minutes to try to do that. And so I think it should be really more something, you know, those plans for action should be something more like a living document. Tried that, you know, in different organizations a number of times, and usually like they die pretty soon. Like you say, let's build a living document, you write something, and then like within 3 months reliably, it's like, you know, it has, you know, it has died, as in it's no longer alive, it's no longer changing. And I think that's what we have to do with the living document. Like every week we've got to like take it out and shake it up and say, hey, you know, we've got this living document, and say, you know, does anybody want to add or change it? And that would be the only way to keep it alive for the group.
Hey, Eddie, you had a nice cultural reference there. I don't think I got it. If you could like send a clip of that reference, that'd be great. It sounds awesome.
Chihuahua, are you following, or can you hear us?
I'm wondering what this meeting is about.
Oh, we're coming together as we're building an organization that can do collective action.
So is this an ongoing group? And this is one meeting of a group that's been going on for a while?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes, so the group is Democracy 3.0, but
3.0.
yes, and the idea is to make a decentralized organization that acts as a functional democracy that can organize collective action according to the will of its members. Yeah, we can.
Well, I was thinking, I don't know where it came from, but I know that I was so excited today. I was just so I love what we did last night together as a group. Everybody showed up really strong. And where are we as a people living on a finite, bountiful planet? And the reason I put it that way is because we live in a duality. And in one sense, the earth is bountiful. I mean, it's just stuff grows and it continues to increase. The sun shines, more energy comes. It's finite in the sense that there's a certain amount of resources that are buried in the ground, but then I start thinking about all the resources we've dug up and thrown away are going to now be, we'll start mining those. And maybe it isn't as finite as I want to think, but oh, I know what caused it. Eddie was talking about there's an 80-year cycle, in that we start out and we kind of agree, and then we kind of come to a place where we might not agree, but we still accept each other and we get along. And then at the end, we become very divided, and it many times ends up in a conflict. And I was just thinking, so where are we as a people in that 80-year cycle?
I'd say we're at year 76,
Yeah.
77, maybe 79.
It really was an eye-opener to me. It was every 80 years. And Brian's brought this up too. He put it in the blueprint somewhere that there's this 80-year cycle. And he's saying that it's time for a new, go for it, Brian. Tell me what it's time for.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that we are at a point of change. And Chiwa, I'd say we're at like 83 or 84 or somewhere more like that. Things are rolling. And the pandemic is definitely, the really big change maker that is forcing us to re-examine the way that our society works, because it's clearly not working. So
The next person after Brian is Chiwa. And Chiwa, I'd actually like to invite you to start a living document for an action plan around, environmental action.
Well, actually, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm starting I write children's book, eco book. Well, I write all kinds of children's books, but I'm writing a series of children's eco books, and it's going to lead into a program for families. My purpose is to help them get stronger together through climate change by helping others and by taking responsibility for what's happening. So that's where I want to put my focus. I don't want to be creating anything else beyond that. I'm not sure what a living document is, first of all.
I mean,
Okay, Nissan.
Well, would you like me to clarify that? The concept of a living document simply states it's understanding that the document has a core ideal on which it was founded, and keeping in with that core ideal after time changes, the document still reflects the ideals that it was written on, because progress in time has changed. Therefore, the circumstances have changed. But I'm saying the circumstances of the time the document was written, using that ideology to carry over for the current time that it isn't now. So it's basically idea that a document should grow as time changes, as long as the ideal of the ideology that constructed the document stays in place. That's what a living document is.
And in the case of my living document, right now we're focusing on, I'm focusing on helping, what shall I say, ecologically helpful to Earth and her creatures. And I think that will probably continue, but things are going to change somewhat, I'm sure, as people become more and more aware that their times are getting tougher because the temperature is getting hotter, like it,
So for you, a situation would be like, right now we're cutting down too many trees, which is killing the planet. But then we may actually have a time where too much trees are growing that we actually need to cut down the trees in a system called thinning, in order to make sure the forest doesn't die by itself.
I wanted to say, Nissan, thank you so much for your definition. It's so great to have you here with your wisdom and knowledge. It's like,
You're welcome.
it really adds a lot. So thank you.
What I have in mind is that, say you make a plan, and the plan is to do sort of, A, B, C, and D, and attain some goal. And a lot of people find that when their plans are sufficiently ambitious, they start working on A and B, and then they find that it did not go according to what they envisioned. That the plan sort of, only lasts until you hit the ground, and then it immediately changes. So living document is like, to me, is where you keep on updating the plan, as we move forward in time. And so to me, I would suggest that, the document should have sort of a, like, it should say, where we are right now, what the vision is, where we want to go, and what are the next steps. What are we working on in the present right now to get towards that vision. Yeah,
That
that's
just sounds like a plan.
yeah,
yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's a plan, but but you have to update it. You have to update it, because otherwise, if it's a difficult task,
Plans change. Yeah.
plans change. Yeah, and
Yeah.
need to change. Yeah.
A lot
doesn't-
of the reasons why plans have to change because people have no clue what is actually going to happen. They're just assuming that if I do A, I get B and C. And when they do A and they don't get B, then they're kerfuffle. Be like,
Yeah.
but and not understanding that your assumption that A equals B was completely wrong. Go back, figure out what A does and what B does, so you can figure out how to get A to get B. People don't do that step. That they just normally look for another A, and hopefully they get to B.
Yeah.
Again, this is a problem with lack of tools.
Free flow.
Well, there's got to be a specific path, a specific theory of change on how exactly these things get implemented. But without a specific theory of change, like, it's just talk.
So what do you mean by a theory of change?
We're at a time of great change right now. This is the 80-year cycle. So we have the opportunity that things are going to change. And so we have the opportunity to steer them towards great, good, positive changes, or we could just sit back and wait and see what happens and just hope for the best. So I advocate very strongly for trying to steer America towards ending poverty, ending mass incarceration, and ending the endless wars.
They set a roadmap. Would you say it's a blueprint?
I mean, I think we're saying the same thing. I mean, I think that I think again, you do have to keep, if you have a theory of change, but theories need to be checked against data to make sure that they're any good. And so I think that you do have to have a theory of change. You do have to have a plan, and you do have to really keep updating it as you do things and you get results. I'll try to get a few of these done, and invite anybody to anything that you want the group that you're working on, and you would be happy for the group to also work on. Anybody can write one of these documents and put it in the server. We'll keep it alive every week.
Why would we want to write a document?
So the document is like a plan. So it organizes what we can do, but it's shared by being shared across, different people. Like, you can have personal plans, like things that you are doing by yourself, and that doesn't, you may not need to share that with anybody else. But there may be the idea of the group is to be able to coordinate collective action for us to, there's certain things that we agree on that we want to have some influence in the world with.
Wouldn't it be good to decide what project we want to work on for starters?
I would actually suggest that we follow the swarm philosophy. So the idea is that we have this group here, but the group is not in charge of each individual's time and energy. And each person is responsible for their own time and energy. Then you don't have to have this, sort of all-encompassing plan of exactly what the group is going to do. You can do what, this particular aspect, this task. And I'm just going to share this with the group so that if other people see it and they're excited and they're like, you know what, I think that'll work, I would like to work on that also, then we can work together. And then if somebody else has, a different way to do it and they're doing it, they can also share what they're doing. And if, people will, sort of hopefully like glom on to things that everybody thinks make sense and things that are getting some results in the world. So that was a long answer.
It sounds to me like you're saying you can come up with one kind of project that you want to do and somebody else can come up with what they want to do, and you both kind of like explain things and people can put ideas into them.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
we can do that.
hook up with the projects, and you don't have to. I think that it's a mistake in most organizations where you try to create one central plan, that the organization is only going to do this one thing, because that's when you get what Nissan's talking about. This person figures you should do it this way, that person figures you should do it that way. And the truth is that probably both of these people actually have no idea whether it will actually work in the world. And so it's not a bad thing. I think it's not as productive to have these people like go at each other and try to argue each other into submission to get the whole organization to do that one thing. Instead, if he wants to do that, he should do that. If they want to do that, they should do that. And the organization, and they can just share, and the organization can sort of just individually make their own decisions.
So does this become sort of like a mastermind group
Yeah,
for
maybe
different projects that people have?
maybe somewhat similar. I mean, I guess the organizing theme again is democracy 3.0, and the organizing idea is collective, I guess collective building and collective action. Like there are many things in the world that we cannot accomplish one person at a time, that people have to work together on. Environmentalism is a big one. There's some things that need or voting, political life. And there are many things that need coordinated action.
Where's the circle?
Go ahead.
Yay!
Okay, so we need to really start and evaluate the bottom. And the way I see this, the only way working is we have to slowly rebuild our leadership. We have to get people together, maybe learn from each other. I think we're desperately in need of Sun leadership. And we need to build a strong communication network so that we could start the deprogramming of the left that has severely defunct our society. We have to really, because our society has been sickened. It's been sickened by false ideologies, misconceptions, and blatant lies. And until we can all agree on the reality where we're in, we can never move forward. We can never come together. Communication is the foundation of society. This was taught to us by the story of the Tower of Babel. As soon as everybody lost the ability to communicate with each other, society has fell apart. We're in another time of the Tower of Babel, where even when we're talking the same language, we're not even understanding each other. And that's not a good thing. Okay. So again, I think you need to focus on building that communication structure building that intelligence system and get everybody on the same page so we could actually take back our power. Because right now, the only thing we have is throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. And this method is not effective at all, especially when we know we have enemies that are well organized and well trained and well developed. When this is not effective. Think of it as a war of information. When we're in a war and our side is defunct and we're fighting an army that is well organized. We're not even a guerrilla organization at this point.
Communication structures, what it is that you're
Uh,
talking about to build this community.
We need to build a strong lexicon. I would say in the form of a Wikipedia. That's probably the most preferred form.
Yeah.
Right. Then we will start by having a small group of people do the work of gaining the skills they need to practice leadership. Right. Then we need to construct a strong message that has to be simple, straightforward, uncontested. And that needs to be repeated ad nauseam. The reason why is simply that's what our enemies have done. They constructed a narrative, said it ad nauseum until it became the absolute truth. That is the way that we were attacked. That was effective. That's the only way we're going to recover. We need to do the same thing. We need to take back the truth. Okay? Like I said, it has to start with a small group of people and start building outwards little by little. But it needs to be with the understanding that we all have to get everybody on the same page. We all have to unify with one language as one people with one goal. Until that happens, change cannot occur. Go ahead, Juan. I said my piece.
Who are the we all that you're talking about?
The we all.
Yeah, we all have to.
I would say those that do not have the power.
Okay.
So I would say that the simple message that should be repeated is that the Constitution is about duty. Constitution is about what we're supposed to be doing. That people have gotten focused on the wrong end. People have been focused on rights and saying, this is what everybody else owes me. But they're starting at the wrong end of the Constitution. They're looking at the amendments that came afterwards. They should be focused on the beginning. What are we supposed to do? Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. That's what we're supposed to be doing. This is a simple message, and this is a message that Americans should be able to agree on. It also counteracts the rights-based framework that is tinged with greed, that drives so much of the right, that says it's all about their rights. It's all about what they're owed. And so if you want to counteract that with a simple message, the Constitution and the preamble is the way to go about it. And that's why it's at the heart of the blueprint, to inspire people to say, look, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Here's how we can do it. Here's how we can work together to get back to the Constitution. So,
Well, you know what I heard when you said that, Brian, when you first started out, I heard John F. Kennedy, ask not what you country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
exactly right. This is not a new idea. It's just one that's been lost. Because
Yes.
it's one that's not even so much has been lost, as one that's been buried, that has purposely been hidden from the American people. They've been distracted by this idea of rights, and civil rights are absolutely a thing, but this idea of natural rights, that people have inherent things that they're just owed without any responsibility to others. No, it's a red herring. It's a false flag. That same trap comes from the left as well, to say these things are human rights. And what you really should be saying is, look, we owe this to each other. We have a responsibility to look out for each other. This is what a social contract is. It's a general understanding among a community that will ensure a basic level of well-being for all of us. And that's the message. That's what promote the general welfare means, is promote basic well-being for the people in the society. That's what we the people are supposed to be doing. So Nissan, to the extent that you want to make that a simple message to hammer out again and again, I absolutely support that.
I'm not opposed to that.
I have a question for you, Nissan. I think I heard you say use a certain kind of communication listed in Wikipedia.
A lexicon,
A
basically,
languaging, you
Yeah.
know, definitions.
a set of definition with clear words, clear definition.
So
So-
that's kind of what you do for the group, is you clear up the lexicon so that we're kind of all realizing we're saying the same thing, or we're not. And if we're not, we need to get.
Yeah. Another problem is that I've seen this constantly happen on the left side, and I don't want to continue this, where we would discount a word because it's been co-opted and then create a new word and then go with that word until that's co-opted. So I don't want to go, and I mean, perfectly clear. When I say make a lexicon, I don't mean just keep creating new words. No, I think we should actively recoup words that were taken from us and we define.
Like right
Because-
to life, for example.
Yeah, right to life. There's so many. Socialism, which was just recouped, which was nice. You know, what liberalism means needs to be recouped. It's been completely distorted.
Yes. Conservative is also completely distorted.
That's why we have small d and big D. I'm like, this blows my head, but that needs to be done.
What
But
did you ask, Brian?
How exactly do you take those words back?
Just like Bernie Sanders did. Bernie Sanders can do it. We can do it. Do the same thing he did. Just
What did he do?
He basically flipped it over. Besides, I'm for this, and then they kept calling him a socialist. Okay, well, if socialism means this, then I'm a socialist. And then like, oh, well, everybody agrees with this, and this. So I guess I'm a socialist too. That's how he recouped it.
So you're
That's
saying
literally what he did.
socialist has been recouped?
Yeah, we can now publicly say socialist. Before, if you go say socialism, they'll call you a commie, and then you'll be buried. We can say now in public. It's been done. Noam Chomsky even acknowledged this. Noam Chomsky was the first to acknowledge this. That was a great victory of the left, right there. We just recouped the word. We never done that before. That's the first time in history. I don't think nobody sees how monumental that was.
I'm not even sure what you said. What it is that
That Bernie Sanders recouped the word socialism and made it able to talk about it in public.
Oh, okay. Bernie. Okay. That's okay.
That was historic. That was a victory. It went under the rug, but that was a huge victory. The fact that we could go and talk about socialism again, and how people like Richard Wolff can go into schools and explain social economics and how economics is doing it, talk about Karl Marx and how economics works. That was huge. Huge. It opened the door that was closed for so long. Things I say are not mostly not even my ideas. I'm just repeating a lot of stuff that I've seen working today.
TC,
So don't get me on some website or something. I'm just repeating what other.
TC, over to you.
Over to me. I am just having a wonderful end to a great day of really feeling like there's change. And I saw a video of this friend of mine who is living imagining a dream life and living it and sharing it. And then I realized she's only one of many that are doing that. And I realized that we are moving into a new paradigm of people manifesting from their dreams. and enjoying the abundance and sharing it all. The document that I write is the agenda for the meeting, so just get spaced out. I think so.
God, is your mic working yet? I would like to hear from you.
Me too.
Thanks.
Hey, there we go.
All right,
Speak your
great.
truth. Speak your truth, my brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm just basically listening to everybody else's input here. I'm not really sure what to say other than, you know, I consider you brothers and sisters in the quest for establishing a government that by the people, for the people, and with the people that will bring about a new world, and we're certainly all ready for it. And I think the energy is growing around the country and probably around the world as well. It does seem like we're out in the desert sometimes, but in people's hearts, I do think that they're seeing how ridiculous all this is, and that there has to be some fresh answers and some new ways of going about things, because we all know what the definition of insanity is. And apparently there's a lot of people that still think that they can continue with the old. It's like the scriptures should say, you know, that you can't put new wine into old wineskins. And I think our ways of governing, our ways of conflict resolution, our ways of managing the world around us in a way that's beneficial to all is the ways that we're using are not working, and that there's new ways and new ideas and new energy that we can tap into. And but we're gonna, Nissan, you're right. I mean, we have to work together. We all have our different little pet projects and all, but I do think we all are moving in the same direction, and we're all looking for that better world. And there's a lot of us now who are, you know, ready to roll up our sleeves and get in there and do the hard work that needs to be done. That's good news. That's good news. But in our society, we're so into this immediate gratification thing, you know, and it's just not, it doesn't work that way. I mean, we're trying to build a political party here in North Carolina, and it's not going to happen overnight, folks. We got to get in there, and we got to just continue to push forward our ideas and come up with new ways of doing things. And I think when people start to see that and see our commitment, I think they're going to realize, hey, this can be the real deal. It's not some flash in the pan. It's not some quick little gimmick or what have you. It's people who are sticking together and moving forward with the same energy of change and fairness and equality and integrity that is so lacking in our world today. And you know, all I can say is I'm here to cheer everybody on, and hopefully they'll be here to cheer me on. But you know, there's so many different ideas about how to go about it, and we have to stick together instead of becoming separated. Oh, well, my idea is better than your idea, all that crap. We just say, well, we're moving in the right direction together. Let's hold hands, and let's try to get through our differences, because that's how we teach the rest of the world. How do we resolve our differences without going to war? How do we work through conflicts? How do we make deals that have integrity to them? I mean, not the kind of stuff you see in Washington now. So yeah, this is what I'm seeing in this group here, is that you know, we're playing with this. We're trying to figure it out and figure out how to move forward with each other, and in a way that's complementary to each other, as opposed to let's all dig our heels in and declare that we're right, and then everybody goes home feeling cheated. So we don't want that. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And you know, I'm glad to see there's other folks like you out there. You're inspiring to me that you got really good ideas and you're committed. I've seen many of you guys before, and working on other projects together. And I'm with you guys on just about all the things you're talking about. So, keep it up. And, I want to be a part of the change and a part of the movement forward.
Thanks, Scott.
I love it. I love it.
I think TC's got a tear in his eye.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's like, I was saying today that when we have different ideas, we actually complement each other. And together we make a bigger picture than either one of us alone. And so it's like, we don't have to think alike. We just become our better self and raise our vibration to a place of togetherness and sharing.
Well, yeah, it's also about the whole thing. And I'm kind of a spiritual guy, so I kind of got into this political stuff in a secondary way. But I think my personal belief is we are all gods. We are all connected to God. We are all one. And when we start thinking that we are separate from one another, that's where we get into problems. And we have to start realizing that we are the same energy of love, but we have different factions. I mean, there are many different expressions of love out there and truth. So it's not always as you see it. It's sometimes others have a truth of their own. Doesn't mean that it's kind of like if all the religions of the world would say, mine is not the only way, mine is just another way. Wow, do you realize what kind of change could happen there? You know what I'm saying? If we just said, okay, this is my truth, this is your truth, and we respect each other's truth, although we both believe in love or the power of love or whatever higher force you want to believe in, and just go with that. But I mean, you think about over the years, over the millennia, when you had the Crusades and people killing people in the name of Christ or name of Allah or Buddha or whoever. And it's just insane that man has been able to manipulate and say, the God said this, and if you don't do this, then we will cut your hand off. And I mean, most people with common sense would go, some of these things don't really reflect what love is.
Really?
But they stick with it, they stick with these centuries old laws and rules that were developed, I think, more than likely to control people. I mean, but at any rate, if it's kind of sounds like a kumbaya kind of thing, but in reality, if we can, understand that we're all interested in the same goals, we want a safe world. We want to be able to manage the resources wisely. We want everybody to get health care. We want everybody to have a roof over their head and medical care and all this other good stuff, which is doable if we are responsible and if we are able to manage the resources in an equitable way.
Listening to what Scott said, rings a big bell for me. And they thought about we are all connected. We're all we are all one in the ultimate view. That, it seems to me, is what is missing. That is what creates greed. You have to believe that you're separate in order to be greedy.
Well, the concept that you are better than, or another human being is better than another.
Yeah. That's what I have often thought, that what we really need is we really need a return to spiritual wholeness. That would solve all of our other problems, but maybe you start with the other problems and you work to that. I'm not sure. Our nation has always been a nation of individualists. That's like the myth, the big mythology of America is that you can make it on your own. You can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You can you can do anything that you want to, and you don't need anybody else to help you with it. And that is rooted in this whole idea of separatism. So somehow, I know, I'm just kind of applauding for what you had to say, Scott.
Ahead, Nissan.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm gonna do something I don't normally do. Because you guys were talking about this. I normally don't like making moral arguments or moral judgments. I'm more about factual, intellectual conversation and rooted in something I can touch that's tangible. But if I had to make the moral argument, today we live in a system where we live in, have the ability to produce anything we want. We have a load of abundance. Back in the day, a lot of people used to starve and die from diseases because they didn't have medicine. They didn't have be able to grow enough food. They didn't have to, be able to save their own children or whatever. Well, we live in relative safety. But I have to ask this more question. Is a system that cannot provide for everyone less more than a system that can provide for everyone but chooses not to? To me, it's a more moral evil that we have access to the things that could save lives and to make people's lives better. And people actively choose to deny that. They're actively denied that. Not because they don't have access to that. Not because it doesn't exist, but because they are denied the access to that. That, I believe, is the greatest moral sin. And that I will conclude this meeting with.